everyone. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation today. My name is Susan Jarboe, and I'm joined by some very good people, Reverend Linda Burdett, Cathy Richman, and Cathy Cronin. Today, we're going to talk about a subject that is sort of dear to my heart, the concept of order. And before we get into that, let me provide an opening prayer. Our Heavenly Parent, help us to study and apply your wisdom to our lives each day. Help us make this session a discipline of the mind and heart, empowered by your Spirit, transforming us each day more and more into your likeness. Thank you for your tender mercy and love, ever leading us onward. Amen. I chose the subject of order for three reasons. The first is when I was a girl, I asked my mom, and she was a Unity person. She went to the Unity Church. I asked her what she believed in, and she said, "Susie, I believe in order." And so I really thought about that as a child, and the most I could think of was she means she likes a neat house. And what else would a kid think? The second reason is that recently Pastor Robert and Veronica Sims put on a series of presentations about affirmative prayer. And I attended those. And one of the things that came up was the 10 powers or the 12 powers of man. And one of them was order. The power of order is the power to organize, sequence, adjust. And I like that definition. Finally, the third reason I was interested in this topic is because I personally need more order in my life. Back to the childhood sense of order, in the sense of a house, a yard, a lot of things I need to bring in order. And I don't even want to talk about my closets. So that is why this subject of order really appealed to me. So I subscribed to Richard Rohr's daily meditations, and what would happen? But he would send out a reading on order. And this is called Include and Transcend. By embracing the gifts and limitations of our growth, Father Richard believes we can face reality with greater integrity and wisdom. When history evolves and embraces a new idea, cultural mood, or consciousness, we need not, we dare not actually, completely exclude the previous idea, mood, or consciousness. We grow best by including what was good and lasting in the previous stage and avoiding the overreaction and rebellious spirit that have characterized most revolutions up to now. This demands both humility and the capacity for non-dual thinking. Either or thinking immediately creates disjunction and mistrust. Both and thinking creates continuity and trust over time. This nonviolent compromise can be most simply stated as include and transcend. It is at the core of what we mean by wisdom and by nonviolence. We can trust and even need certain kinds of disorder to clarify what our original order meant, lacked, or intended. There are always a few needed correctives to every new proposition, and those correctives only appear over time and with practice. If we can rightly achieve an integration of original plan plus correctives, rule plus the exception that proves the rule, order plus disorder, we have what I am calling reorder. Reorder moves us forward in a positive way, but then sets the stage for the pattern to continue all over again. Even good reorder in time becomes its own faulty order, and its own cracks will begin to show. The need for humility and creativity never stops. Order, by itself, normally wants to eliminate any disorder and diversity, creating a narrow and cognitive rigidity in both people and systems. Disorder, by itself, closes us off from any primal union, meaning, and eventually even sanity in both people and systems. Reorder, or transformation of people and systems, happens when both are seen to work together. Given the prevalence of this pattern, it must now be considered culpable ignorance that most people still consider disorder somewhat of a surprise, a scandal, a mystery, or something to be avoided or overcome by an easy jump from order to reorder. This is human hubris and illusion. Progress is never a straight and uninterrupted line, but we have all been formed by the Western philosophy of progress that tells us it is, leaving us despairing and cynical. So, what does this demand of humanity, especially those who are leaders and teachers? More than anything else, humility and creativity. These virtues offer the detachment and patience that allow history to move forward because they keep our absolutes, our certitudes, and our obstinacy out of the way. Even God submits to mercy and forgiveness toward what used to be. Apparently, God enjoys doing this because it never stops happening. Every original order learns to include an initially threatening disorder, which morphs into and creates a new reordering, and we begin all over again. Are there comments from the panel?
Sure, I can definitely comment on all of that. I like the way that you put that into um, kind of categories: order, disorder, and reorder. It of course came to me as recovery and the disorder of the disease and how hard it is to kind of reorder your entire life by editing out whatever the addiction was. So as you were talking, that's kind of how I understood it. But also, I was reminded of Emily Cady's definition of now I've lost the chemicalization. There it is. It was right there. Where when something new comes in, it creates kind of disorder, disharmony, kind of a murkiness until things are reordered or become a divine order with this new whatever added to or subtracted to the situation. I know personally for me, when I'm faced with extreme disorder, I try and organize like one spot at a time. Okay, this is all too much, but I can do this over here. And then that leads to this over here. And then all of a sudden, I have reordered. So there are some of my thoughts on this topic. Excellent topic. Thank you, Susan.
Well, you're very welcome.
Well, I'll comment also. I, I was confused. I thought this is a complex topic. And yet, when you first thought of it, order, you thought of, having a neat house, having everything in its place where it's supposed to be. Organize, adjust, and sequence. I wrote those words down, that's sort of what order means. But you have to hold on to what's good and lasting from the last stage. And it reminds me of, somebody who comes in and is going to help you reorganize or help you decorate your kitchen. And they're saying, well, let's get rid of this and let's get rid of that. I'm going to make it much better. It's all about the ego. And yet what you're saying is that you have to hold on to the good and the parts that were just fine, that didn't need to be reorganized. And I love the quote, humility and creativity never stops. And that really resonated with me. Reorder means working together. So it's one of those topics that I'd like to just sit down and really to digest it, because I thought, wow, this is complex. Either that or my brain is weakened today, but that's what I got out of it. So I thought it was really a good topic, and I'm glad you shared what he had written. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to share my thoughts on this. When I think of order, and I know Charles Fillmore wrote the 12 Powers, and when he does get in very in depth and sometimes can get very confusing. And I liked what you shared from Richard Rohr about the points of it, of different things in order. And when I think about the order, similar things as everything flows, a well-ordered oiled machine, flows, everything flows as it should be when it's in an orderly fashion. Traffic moves easily when it's in orderly fashion. Life goes along, the river flows, everything in life just flows in an order that it's to be. The earth, and gravity, how it circles the sun, and there's an order to everything in life. And what I look at that is recognizing also divine order, that there are things that in life that I don't have control over, and I have to trust divine order to prevail, to bring about the changes. When there's change going on, that there's an order that's happening with these changes. And so that's sort of like the reorder, is like that's sometimes we need to cleanse that, like cleaning out your closets. It's like things in life or things within the world. There's a point that we need to change things and come up with a new order, the new order of direction that we are shifting towards. So that's, for me, when I think about this, I think about divine order. I think about, when I no longer, that I don't have control of it, that it's really God's order and God has a plan. And that's when I have to sort of say, okay, God, tell me what your plan is. I don't understand this, and, bring me order that is. But, I can take the order in my life and flow through it and just know that I'm walking this path today because that's the direction that God wants me to be moving, and that's the order that I need to be experiencing. And so, and sometimes it's just taking things that I can change and bringing order and a semblance so that my life doesn't feel so cluttered and so disorganized, that it's just, I can be at peace because that which is around me, I've surrounded myself with order. And so your mother's thing about what she likes in life is order, is that brings that she doesn't feel cluttered. She just knows everything's in its place and it's all happening as life is unfolding. And I think those are the thoughts that I have to remember, is that I can do things to make my life more orderly, and things that I can't, that I have to turn it over to God for divine order. So thank you for those topics and sharing those points.
Thank you, panel, for your remarks. What struck me the most about this reading was that we tend to think disorder is bad, and yet there is truth and wisdom and good things to consider. You know, the idea he phrased, we want to go from disorder to order really fast, and it's more of a process. We can't expect results overnight. Well, any other comments? Then I shall close. We welcome feedback and comments, and so you can comment on any of our tapes. We like hearing from people, and we'd be happy to hear from you. Also, if there's something you really want to say, an article you've read or a book you've read, consider being a panelist and join with us in some of these tapings. You don't have to be a permanent panelist. You could just do it in one shot, something you really care about. And we would welcome your participation in that way. If this topic, if you think someone you know would benefit from hearing about order and disorder and reorder, please acquaint them with this link. We're happy for our works to go beyond just the Unity audience. Also, if you have ideas for us, we welcome ideas, and ideas can come from anywhere. For me, it was running across order and disorder a couple of times at once that told me, you know, God is saying something to me about order. And maybe there are things that God is saying to you that you could pass on to us. You can contact us through the information at the end of this program, and we would love to hear from you. Blessings to you all, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments, which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.